2.5 years have gone very fast, I need to say. That time in February 2015, I started my first speech as the newly elected president with the following words. I'm a man who believes in people and in the opportunities that our union holds for them. I'm a citizen who believes in politics and who is committed at the closest level of democracy as one of the guardians of subsidiarity. I think these words are still very valid, not only for me, but most likely to all of you as well, men and women. Since the day one, my key priority was to contribute to making our European Union a union of its citizens. My political credo as leader of the EU's political assembly of regionally and locally elected members was to strengthen our political leadership. This is also much in line with what I said 2 years ago. As members of this House, you are the biggest asset of this institution. And now, at the end of my term as president, let me express today my most sincere gratitude to every one of you for having worked with me during these years. So, let me spend a few minutes on what we set out at the beginning of this mandate and how we have been implementing those. First, we made it a member-driven presidency. For the first time in the Committee of the Regions history, the entire political spectrum worked together and set out to 5 ambitious yet pragmatic priorities for the whole 5-year term, 5-year mandate. Let me say briefly going through this. So let me start the first one using my own language, Finnish. And the very good reason is this, that the first of our priorities is about the economic recovery, economic refreshment. We have these priorities. And please listen to the interpretation, because sillä haluan sanoa tämän osan puheestani suomeksi. Suomi on esimerkki maista, joka pitkään on kärsinyt taloudellisesta taantumasta, ongelmista tästä taloudesta pitkään jatkuneesta kriisistä. Mutta paljon positiivista on näköpiirissä ja ne elementit tulevat siitä myös, mitä me tänne meidän prioriteetteihimme määrittelimme. Ensimmäinen prioriteetti nimenomaan korostaa alhaalta ylöspäin suuntautuvaa lähestymistapaa. We even used our first words, the bottom-up approach. That's how we started this statement. Ja nimenomaan tähän alhaalta ylöspäin suuntautuvaan lähestymistapaan sen ytimessä ovat alueet ja kaupungit. Kaupunkien rooli myös alueensa keskuksina, toimien katalysoijina, toimien mahdollistajina, uusien mahdollisuuksien näkijöinä ja kooten yhteen kaikki avaintoimijat, kansalaistoimijat, mutta yhtä lailla tietenkin koko yritystoiminnan, teollisuuden suuret yritykset, pienet yritykset, uudet opiskelijoiden, nuorten startup-yritykset, yliopistot, koululaitokset, kaikki yhteistyöhön. Ja me määrittelimme tässä 3 keskeistä tekijää, jotka tähän nimenomaan tehokkaaseen talouden eräämiseen luovat edellytykset. Me puhuimme yrittäjämäisestä mielenlaadusta, entrepreneurial mindset, kytkimme sen digitalisoitumiseen, uusien ratkaisujen tuottamiseen niin teollisuudelle kuin yhteiskunnallisiin haasteisiin digitalisaation avulla. Ja kytkimme sen myös alueiden itselleen määrittelemiin prioriteetteihin, älykkääseen erikoistumiseen, uuteen innovaatiopolitiikkaan. Ja nämä yhdessä luovat edellytykset kasvulle ja niin kuin me korostamme ja olen johdonmukaisesti korostanut kaikkialla, kestävälle kasvulle, ei mille tahansa kasvulle. Ja tämä luo uusia työpaikkoja. Tällä alueella olemme tehneet paljon työtä ja nimenomaan saaneet eri tahot toimimaan yhteistyössä alueiden, kaupunkien ja meidän alueiden komitean kanssa. Eri toimijoilla voi olla erilaisia filosofioita, lähestymistapoja, mutta kaikilla on yhteinen intressi. Ja nyt olen paljon vakuuttuneempi kuin 2,5 vuotta sitten, että se intressi on nimenomaan kestävä kasvu. If I then look on our second priority, that has been my priority very heavily as well, to make sure that EU legislation includes a territorial dimension. That's our strong target. It has been and it will be. So over the last 36 months, I committed myself to do hard work, not only here in Brussels and not only in my own constituency. So I did my best to make the voice of regions and cities and rural areas heard at over what we calculated 397 conferences and events in your constituencies. So not only in Brussels, but also here. I represented you in 441 meetings with mayors and presidents of regions, heads of states and ministers, as well as presidents of the EU institutions and commissioners. In doing this, during my term, I've been in regions and cities covering all our 28 member states. So even my cabinet started to call me that I'm just, their role is to keep me rotating Europe and they just changed the crew. But I did my best and I'm happy that we've been able to conclude a lot on that. My political message is simple. We need more cohesion, solidarity and unity across the EU. And our alliance for a strong, effective cohesion for all EU regions for post-2020, which is now strongly known everywhere, and we are getting more and more support on that, thanks to our strong opinion on that and thanks to our different efforts. This is one important instrument. Thirdly, in our priorities, we wanted to help creating a simpler, more connected Europe. Our work on better regulation and simplifying the use of EU funds has been successful so far. We've reached results, of course, not only by us, but in good collaboration, especially with the Commission and with the high-level expert group chaired by Siim Kallas. Connected Europe is more than the simplification and using funds. It's about connecting people, ideas and resources across Europe. This was the objective of our Bratislava summit in July a year ago, which became really the flagship event, at least of my presidency, but I think major event for us throughout our history as well. Due and thanks especially to our Slovak members. Our fourth priority was to contribute to the stability and cooperation within and outside the EU. The ongoing refugee crisis directly affected our members. It is also essential to provide support to countries of origin or transit, as we strongly discussed at the beginning of this year in the fifth Assise, bringing 800 people from around the globe to talk, key people to talk with us and create new ideas, which we, among other actors, will deliver then to EU Summit, EU-Africa Summit in November, or in EU Latin America Summit in the fall as well. I want to add one example on this priority, fourth priority, and that is the Libyan and Ukraine activities. Local authorities supporting investments in public services, promote decentralizations, and again, strongly happy that we have been able to do that in collaboration with many of you as our members. And now we have more funding for that, thanks partly to our member states, our cities, but to European Union as well. And we've done this in good collaboration with Federica Mogherini and others. Fifth is our last but not least point. This priority was to work towards a Europe of citizens as a Europe of the future. We need to better showcase the added value of our union, showcase the results of the work that you are doing, and that's why this collaboration on the reflecting on Europe is so crucial. That's why we expect more and more you, the members, to bring your best practices, showcasing them to other members, and start more and more partnerships, because that will be the future of Europe. More partnerships, building critical knowledge, critical mass of new ideas as well by the help of that. Seeing the results so far, we don't have any reason not to continue with these priorities. Karl-Heinz, he will come back on his plans for the future, but I'm very proud of one thing especially. He has already committed to continue the work on what we have started together as a tandem. Without a doubt, I have experienced the presidency of challenging times. I'm actually very happy that my term of office has been exactly now when we have these big, huge challenges, because we need to rebuild and renew Europe. We know that. Just when we were making progress from one of Europe's biggest economic crises, we faced the decision of one member state leaving the Union, and we recognized several terrorist attacks across the continent. So much is changing. I remember all the minutes of silence we have held over the last 2 years, here and in our other meeting rooms. And there were, of course, too many of those minutes of silence. However, instead of giving in to fear, we as Europeans became stronger in our unity. If you Google the word EU and crisis, both linked together, there will be 135 million results shown up in under half a second. However, history tells a different story. For the last 500 years, Europeans have been fighting each other, but thanks to the European project, this has become unthinkable in just 60 years. Peace, democracy, and solidarity are our alma mater. We all know that our European Union is not perfect, and I agree that we need a new narrative, European narrative, and on that, the narrative stories coming from our cities and regions, they are crucial. But mere words are empty without true actions. Therefore, we need more action and positive change. And it has to start now and become a reality in the next years. So personally as well, if you elect me on the new role today, so I will have a role to play on that as well. I want to now to take 3 examples on what I perceive as successes of my mandate. There are many more, but I think these are important, hitting our today's thinking. The first one is the increased perception of the added value and credibility that local and regional authorities have in the EU. This is happening inside and outside our house. We need to remember both. Secondly, everybody recognizes now that rebuilding trust in Europe can only be done in partnerships with cities and regions. It's the bottom-up movement. On the 25th of March, I was in Rome and witnessed the significance of this message of unity, leading to Rome Declaration, co-signed by all 27 member states and heads of EU institutions. Further, acknowledging this, the President of the Council of European Union, Donald Tusk, has asked us to draw up recommendations on the future of Europe. And the third success, I want to mention one of my personal reasons of hope for the future is stemming from empowering Europe's youth. We need to support them and the other elements strongly, other actors strongly. In my work at universities, I see engaged youth who are constantly working on innovative solutions. They want to be active, but do not always have the right outlet to make their voices heard. It is thanks to you, members and staff, and your hard work that this presidency has been a success. First, I want to thank our members. You are definitely the CR's biggest and strongest asset. You have entrusted me with this enormous task. Second, I want to thank the first Vice President, Karl-Heinz Lamberts, with whom, as a tandem, we have continuously worked hard for the future of our institutions, for our European citizens. And I also want to thank all the staff in the political groups and in the administration, the interpreters, translators, the ushers, and the security officers. We've all needed you. You have all been of excellent help on this assignment. Lastly, I wish to express my special thanks to all the members of my cabinet, members who often worked around the clock, so late evenings, to ensure the best political impact for our House. So what next? Maybe just a few words about that. Practically, I'm already this evening leaving you for a while, flying to Tallinn to talk tomorrow morning in the environmental ministers meeting during the Estonian presidency on eco-innovations. Practically as well, I was a couple of weeks ago elected to be the chair of the board of my own city, Espoo, so I will collaborate a lot with you on the practical level with our cities and regions to co-create the future of Europe, innovative Europe, sustainable Europe, Europe giving equal opportunities for men and women and young. But I think you know, just like me, that there is no present without the past, and there is no present without the future. So we need to be very strongly future-oriented. And there I want us all to remember the low turnout in the last EU elections. Moreover, we face today citizens tired with the two traditional politics, talking only. We need to have more action. This lesson must be learned ahead the 2019 elections, where we must demonstrate that we can bridge the gap with the citizens. However, the momentum is growing to build a better, more human Europe. We see this with the statements recently made by several national and EU leaders. We must be in close contact with them and make the EU reflect the realities in our cities and regions. Through it, members, our European Committee of the Regions has the potential and the will to make this better future to happen. We need to invent the future bottom up. With these words, I'm proudly looking forward to continue my role in the future as well as the first Vice President of this House, if you so decide. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karl-Heinz.